alcoholism and depression, and the weird grey areas in between. Right, long and short, I've had a bit of a crappy couple of weeks in terms of my mood. I mean, some ups and some downs, but the downs are a bit heavy. So I thought I'd talk about it. Now, I did a video a while ago talking about how my kind of history with anxiety and depression could have been not completely averted, but could have been significantly less significant had I not been a heavy drinker. And what I want to say is I don't want people to get the impression from that if I hadn't drink, I wouldn't have had any problems. Because I'm pretty sure that, you know, even if I hadn't become a drinker, I still would have been a anxious, susceptible to depression kind of guy. You know, I know I was. You know, my issues, you know, I've talked about it before, the things that made me become an alcoholic got worse when I started drinking. You know, it was the fear, insecurity, anxiety that I remember as a child. It was those things that the alcohol alleviated temporarily, which in the long term became worse because of alcohol misuse. So, yeah, being a drinker didn't help. And there's so many people out there who have problems with drink addiction and underlying mental health issues. They kind of go hand in hand, but they don't have to. The point of this is I've had a weird few weeks. It's been, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks I've wanted to talk about this. Something came to mind. I noticed I'd been a little bit less motivated. I noticed my mood dropped a bit. I noticed my motivation was just a dip across the board. I've had some really good moments, but just a general dip. I was like, am I starting to show signs of depression again? And yes, I am. So a bit about my history. So I was diagnosed with anxiety and general depression ages ago. Yes, the drinking made it worse, but I'm sure I would have had it anyway, even had I not made it worse with a drink. There were a couple of years when I was taking SSRIs. They're like long-term antidepressant medication. I stopped taking them before my last drink. And I don't know, where am I now? I think the point I'm trying to make is that for someone who has had a history of alcohol and been in some really dark places and also had a history of anxiety and depression, it's really hard to judge how I feel now. Because there's always this benchmark of like, well, I know how bad feels. I know how bad really bad feels. I know how I felt in my really dark place when I had like no motivation, no self-worth, you know, complete despair and desperation. I know how that felt, and I got through that. But right now, I've had these few weeks where I'm a little bit off. But how does that compare? Because I'm not as bad as when I was at my worst. But how bad is this? How bad is this in comparison to a non-alcoholic who's having a period of depression? How bad is this in comparison to someone who needs more help than I had, who needs less help than I have had? I know I feel worse than I did a few months ago, but I don't feel as bad as I did 4 or 5 years ago. And then, what does it take to get through that? Does it mean repeating some of the stuff I've already done? Or does it mean doing something new? Because this is new for me, to be in this kind of mood, but not because of alcohol. But then I know I had these issues all along. The alcohol only made them worse. So am I going to deal with them in the same way I dealt with the issues when I was dealing with them alongside alcohol? You see my point. I've got certain benchmarks. I've got certain benchmarks that I'm judging myself against in terms of my own history. So for someone else to say, Robin, I think, let's say, I think you have depression, you need to deal with this. I go, well, but not as bad as I was 3, 4, 5 years ago. And they're like, okay, I see what you mean. Well, how do you feel? And it's like, I don't know. What's the point of all this? The point is that life isn't all roses and rainbows and sunshine. Just because you stop drinking doesn't mean that you're going to have a great life every day for the rest of your life. No, you have bad days, you have bad weeks, bad months, bad years. You have moods that go up and down. You have situations in life which hold you back and push you down and make you feel like crap. You have frustrations with work and career progress. You have times when you can't motivate yourself or get out of bed. And then you try and do things to get yourself out of that. And yeah, this is one of those things. Making these videos is one of these things. I've had a busy few weeks. I'm not going to say this bad mood stopped me making videos. I've genuinely been busy with other stuff. But when I checked my phone and it said you haven't made a video for 12 days, I was like, blimey, how'd that happen? Because the thing is, this has become part of my help, to help myself. I notice I'm in a low mood, or I notice something about me and my thoughts and my emotions and my reactions and the world I'm in. And I think to myself, how can I tell these people about it? And that makes me go over everything I've learned. Makes me go over the stuff that I learned dealing with the alcohol, dealing with my anxiety, dealing with my self-worth, dealing with my etc., etc. And I think, well, how can I say this in a way that might help someone else? Makes me think for myself. It's my therapy in between therapy sessions. So what do you need to know? You need to know that, like I said, life's not all sunshine, rainbows and roses. You have bad days. You have bad weeks, you have bad months, you have bad periods of time, however long it might be. But just because you're sober doesn't mean you're perfect. Just because you're sober and done some work doesn't mean you fixed everything forever. You're still human. Yeah. Life's tough. Recovery's tough. Struggling with mental health can affect anyone at any time, at any point in their life, no matter who they are or what they've done or what they've been through. So yeah, there's my little rant. I hope there was something in there that helped. Catch you soon. Bye.